More than 3,000 traffic deaths in the United States every year is when people get their cars, working on their cars on the side of the road. Cars run right into them. Boom. Happens during roadside repairs. Never, ever store fuel in an enclosed container like your trunk. The fumes will build up, they'll get out, and they will build up inside that trunk and accumulate and become explosive. Alcohol in crashes. In 2003, 25% of drivers ages 15 to 20 who died in vehicle crashes had been drinking. That's statistics from a national survey by the Center for Disease Control. 30% of teenagers reported that within the previous month they had ridden in a vehicle with a driver who had been drinking alcohol. 1/8 stated that they had been drinking alcohol during the same month. Why is this important? In that same time frame of the drivers who were killed in the United States, the teenagers, 74% of those were not restrained by a seatbelt. It is presumed that when people drink, they don't put their seatbelt on. This is quite a bit of deaths for something just as simple as not drinking alcohol and driving, or riding with somebody that's been drinking and putting your seatbelt on. That's something you're going to learn as you get older, I'm sure. A few facts to know about the alcohol is it affects your brain big time. It's a depressant. You lose coordination. You lose your judgment. Your vision is distorted. Your reflexes are reduced. And you can even have blackouts from it. You can pass out. Too much alcohol, you can have, in a short period of time, you can get alcohol poisoning and die from it. It can mess you up that much. Most teenagers, however, don't drink. You might be surprised to learn. In fact, research has shown that 71% of people aged 12 to 20 in the past month have not had any drink at all. Here's a good way for a teenager to refuse alcohol. Try no thanks. I'm not interested. Let's talk a little bit about head restraints. There are 25 to 40% of whiplash victims will suffer chronic symptoms due to damage to the joints, discs, ligaments, nerves in their neck due to whiplash. Each year there's 12 million whiplash victims in the U.S. You need to learn, this can all be, the vast majority of it can be rectified by simply knowing how to adjust the head restraint in your vehicle. The restraint, if it's positioned too low, can cause injuries because when you're rear-ended in a vehicle, your head comes over the top of the headrest, damaging your neck. The restraint should be adjusted up or down until it meets the center of the back of your head. Anything too low or too high can cause injuries. Seat belts. You're going to hear me over and over in this lecture talk about seat belts. I think statistically it shows that they save lives. My personal knowledge in my family is that it saves lives. This is not a joke. The Fatality Analysis Reporting System indicates that more than 2/3 of teenage occupants killed in motor vehicle crashes were not wearing seat belts. Yes, it could have saved their lives big time. Seat belts reduces the chance of being killed or seriously injured in a vehicle crash by almost 50% because they allow the bodies to slow down when the vehicles hit and crash. It prevents ejection from the vehicle, which happened in my family both times. It spreads the crash forces over a wider part instead of having everything hit at just one time. The most fatally injured teens in vehicle crashes were not using seat belts, and unbelt drivers account for 75% of impaired driving fatalities. There again, when people have a tendency to drink alcohol, they lose their judgment, they don't wear their seat belts, you got a double whammy, you're in trouble. Every 9 seconds someone's injured in a vehicle crash, and every 13 minutes somebody in the United States is killed. It's estimated that seat belts save about 11,000 lives a year in the United States alone. Wearing a seat belt is the best protection against tired, drunk, aggressive drivers. It will help you out. Airbags are great. However, airbags were designed to be used in conjunction with seat belts, not in lieu of a seat belt. The airbags by themselves, without the seat belts, have a fatality reducing effectiveness of only 12%. So you get in a crash. A lot of people do. In fact, in 2000, it was estimated that there was over 6 million vehicle crashes that year. 2 million stated that they were injured, and over 37,000 were killed. 115 deaths each day in that year. That's almost 1 every 13 minutes. With a vehicle crash every 5 seconds in the United States, it's likely that somewhere in your lifetime you're going to be in a vehicle crash. Here's some of the tips and advice. Don't leave the scene of a vehicle crash even if you're not at fault. Move your vehicle to a safe place if necessary. If there seems to be any significant damage at all, or if anybody feels the least bit of pain, contact the police immediately. In fact, you're always better to contact the police to have them make a report. They'll be happy to come out. If you're in pain, if anyone's in pain, accept the services of an ambulance. Let them take you to an emergency room and have you checked out. You'll need to exchange information. You will need to exchange your vehicle information. You'll need to have exchanged your insurance information. Do not leave with the person you got in an accident with to go to their house and talk about it. Call the police, have them come out. When you're in an accident, do not get in between the vehicles. Someone else may come down the road, strike yours, and catch you in between. Stand away from the vehicles, stand away from the accident. Don't stand out in the middle of the road waiting for something else to happen, because it just might. Most importantly, remain calm. I'd like to go over an interesting seatbelt survey that was done in a local high school here in the North Georgia area. It was categories of the survey were adults wearing seatbelts coming onto a high school premises, students wearing seatbelts at a high school premises, students with adults wearing seatbelts coming into high school premises, and the children, toddlers or younger. In the adult category, 92 people were wearing seat belts, 45 were not. Almost a 50% non-use of adults coming onto a campus. In the students with adults category, 9 were using seat belts and 7 were not. Almost 50% again. They're with their parents coming onto a school campus, riding right down the road, coming onto it. 50%. However, of the students that were actually driving the vehicle themselves without the adults, the compliance rate was much higher. 135 were wearing their seat belts. Only 26 out of that were not. Obviously, as the law goes along through time, our younger generation gets more used to it and complies a little better with it. Of the small children that were with adults, not teenagers, a third were completely unrestrained without child safety seats, seat belts, or anything. The facts are clear. Teenagers are certainly at a high risk for vehicle crashes, vehicle injuries, and even death. The reasons vary greatly, but with education, the teenage driver can overcome the pitfalls of inexperience. At the very least, making them aware of the hazards and of possible ways to overcome them. From parents, school officials, law enforcement, and the community at large must work together to help teenagers drive safely, especially from ages 16 through 20. With the roadways becoming ever more crowded and the teenagers having more social events at night, this will be an ever-increasing task. With the personal tragedies of losing 2 teenagers in my family, it is with great hope that the material presented in this project will guide teenagers through some of the most difficult driving times of their life, adolescence. Thank you, and drive safely.